Good morning. We are live and it's actually morning time. Hello, Instagram. I hope you're having a fabulous day, night, morning, wherever you are. And hello, YouTube. I hope you're just living your best life on this beautiful day. I am going to get ready for you. I am currently in Germany and I am headed to Munich to meet a new friend. And we all know that getting friends in adult life can sometimes feel like a challenge, especially when we've been growing and evolving and doing the work and we're living overseas. And it's like, you got to put yourself out there to meet new people. So I'm excited to be here with you today. And I'm really excited about today's topic because it is the truth of why you quit, even when you want something really, really badly. And this is specifically for high achieving women who have some level of unresolved childhood trauma, who want more, but sabotage it when growth feels unsafe. And I'm going to definitely share with you what it is that I mean by that. So if you have felt like you've ever been on such a mission, you're like, I feel this, I have this fire in my chest, I have this vision in my bones. And then day one, you're so motivated. You're like, oh my God, let's make this happen. I'm so excited. And day two, you're like, holy smokes, I'm actually doing it. I'm keeping all my promises. And then day three rolls around and you're just not motivated anymore. You're just not in it. You're like, well, this is stupid. Nobody's going to notice. You start spiraling. Day three always brings resistance. And when I say day three, it doesn't sound like any big deal. It's like, wow, it's only 3 days. That's not that much. But when you're actually doing something new, it feels like 3 weeks. You're like, no, but this is going on for far too long. It clearly doesn't work. Why am I even bothering? So I want you to know, first of all, you're not alone. And it's not that somehow you don't have some je ne sais quoi that someone else has. It's not that, you're lazy and you just can't find the motivation. It's because right now, when you're starting to do new things, you are running on a nervous system that still believes that being visible and powerful and having that celebrity energy and successful is a threat. Now, there might be a part of you right now that's like, no, I don't feel that. I want success. That's silly. I don't feel that way at all. And it's not like it's in your conscious. You're not walking around going, this is stupid. I don't even want success. It doesn't show up like that. It shows up like, I'm not motivated. And so today I'm going to walk you through exactly why you quit, even when you want it more than anything, and how to rewire your brain to hold the life that you're building. And this is why I always say, your memories, your dreams, they're memories from the future. You've already made them happen. And for me, that was something that I was able to get behind when I had really big dreams, because for where I come from, I've already done incredible things. I have been an entrepreneur for over a decade. I have founded companies. I have sold companies. I have reinvented myself. I have gone through a 14-year marriage. I am living a very healthy life. Where I come from, growing up on the poverty line, growing up without running water, being taken from my home when I was 12 due to abuse and neglect. I didn't have great role models. So I really had to figure all this out on my own, but I just always knew that I didn't want to be like where I came from. And that the only difference between what I wanted and what I didn't have was action. That's it. And I watched, actually, as a little girl, the people in my life, the ones that complained how it was only for the rich, or the people that complained that, the poor are always being taken advantage of. They didn't do a lot of action. They did a lot of survival. They did a lot of basic upkeep to live, essentially. And while there was a certain time in our life where, that was kind of all that was available to us, I talk about this in my memoir, my great grandmother, she literally had to marry someone else because her husband went to prison. She had no way to feed her kids, but she married this person just so she could afford coats for her kids in the winter. I mean, we've come a long way as women when we look back on our lineage and think about what people, what our women in our families had to do to keep us going. So we don't live in that time anymore, though. So we have to get with the times and realize that, our evolution is our responsibility. So I've gone off on a rant now, and now I'm going to give you the nitty gritty of the 21 days, but specifically why day 3 is the absolute danger zone. So, how does rewiring actually work? I mean, if you're here watching this, you probably care about personal development. You've probably gone down your own rabbit hole. You're probably an expert in some area of your life when it comes to your own healing journey. So, you have heard about this term rewiring your nervous system. So, like I said, day 1, you're excited, you're committed, you're all in. You feel that future version just pulling you forward, and you post and you show up and you go live and you do the thing and you start the business and you tell people about it. And day 2, oh my God, you are still vibing high, right? You are creating, you are sharing. You're like, I'm finally doing this. Like, look at me, look at me. And then day 3 hits. Okay. Day 3 hits and you're like, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. And your body, not your mind, it starts to panic. Okay. It starts to say, like, oh, I'm tired. I don't think I'm cut out for this. I'm exhausted. You second guess everything. Okay. You might be like, oh, I'm in my Loodle phase, or, if you're in human design, I'm a non-energy being. So like, I can't do this. It's too much on my nervous system. I don't have consistent energy for this. And I'm by no means am I throwing shade at the human design field. I'm an expert in that, and there is some truth to that. But when you're building something, you can be consistently inconsistent as you're doing that. Okay. So you start hearing these whispers like, you're too much. No one cares about what you're doing. You should stop before you embarrass yourself. You should stop before people see the real you. Okay. If you can relate to this, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. If you're like, oh God, I have been on this roller coaster and it is not fun. So here's the thing. It's not your intuition. You're not having a splenic hit. You're not having a gut instinct, as much as we want to say that that's what it is. It's not logic. It is literally your nervous system doing its job, which is keeping you in familiar spaces. I want you to think about like your brain and your nervous system, like they're two BFFs, and they work together to keep you alive. Okay. So while the brain is making sure you're breathing properly and oxygen is in your blood and you're doing the thing, the nervous system is like, I got you. I got you, brain. I will make sure that this human does not go outside the comfort zone, because we know the comfort zone is safe. Okay. It is the trauma, your trauma brain, that is literally saying, girlfriend, visibility equals danger. If we're seen, we're more at risk. Now, why does this matter, especially for those of us who had any kind of childhood trauma? Because being seen was not safe. It was not safe as a small child. I remember sleeping on the roof when I was a child because it was a lot safer than sleeping in my house when my mother was drunk and unstable and violent. And that was super scary for me. So it's one thing, and I've had my own experience with this, like building companies. It's one thing to build a company that you're selling a product. Okay. You're like, oh, look at me. And not even, you're like, hey, look at this product. Look at this product. I'm going to tell you about this product. I'm going to tell you how you can use this product. It's all about this product. And then there's a difference between selling a service and a solution, because you no longer have this tangible touch and feel product. You're like, hey, let me sell you a vision. Let me sell you what this is going to look like. But you're still behind the vision. You're still hiding behind the vision. I call them beautiful billboards: product billboard, vision billboard. And then at some point, when you're a trailblazer, where you're a thought leader, where you're meant to do more in this world, you're like, okay, I actually think I can transform people's lives. So now I got to go and tell people about the transformation. But their first question is going to be, how do I know that this works? And then you go, well, look at me. And then you go, oh my God, don't look at me. And then you realize, like, oh, I'm naked. I have nothing to hide behind. And so what I want you to know is that on this day 3, this pivotal day 3 moment, you have hit a threshold of safety. And your body knows it, and that's it. That's all it is. And it's like, you just got to push through that. Okay. So now there's a second thing that I want to tell you. It's not just about day 3. Like day 3 is danger zone. Okay, we know that. But I want to tell you what's really happening when we talk about this 21-day rewiring cycle, right? How many of us have heard it takes 21 days to create a new habit? So most of the time people think like, oh, that just means it takes me 21 days to, commit to something. And that's not what it's about. It's actually about the capacity that you are willing to hold. It's like flexing a muscle. Think about when you were a student, you had to go to university and that like felt really hard. And then you were like, well, I want to have a social life. So you decided to join some extracurricular activities. And you're like, oh, that feels really hard. And then you had to go find a job. And you're like, oh, okay, now I got my job. I got the university. I got the extracurriculars. And then you're like, well, shit, one job is not going to cut it. I need to go get a second job. So you went and got a second job. And now you're making friends at this job and this organization. And you're going to school and you're doing all the things. And like you had to slowly build up the capacity to do all the things. It's kind of like when we became adults and we're like, oh, let me go date people. And you started dating people. You're like, oh my God, this is so exhausting with everything else going on in my life and my job and my friends. And now I'm like dating. And then you find the one and you're like, oh, I really need to commit to this relationship and figure out if they're the one. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're the one. I'm going to get married. Oh man, now I'm planning a wedding. It's like so stressful. And then you get married and then you have children. You're like, oh my gosh, how do I have a job and a husband and children and right? But every single time you are building your capacity to hold. Okay, so let me walk you through what happens between day 1 and day 21. You ready? So like I said, you're in the high in the very beginning. You're activated, you're inspired, you're declaring what's next, you're out there, you're telling everyone, you're like, I got this. And then there's this huge crash. And it's not a short-term crash. It's not like you just fall from the sky and the crash is over. It's kind of like this slow crash where you're like, oh my God, when is it over? And it's for a good amount of time. It's like, up until day 10. It's like, how bad do you really want this? And I talked about this yesterday in Unfiltered with Franceska. I talked about how I have had to bribe myself because I already know what my brain is going to do. My brain is going to tell me why this is stupid. It's going to look for proof why it's not working. And while I can, negotiate with my brain and still show up because I know all of this, that's not as fun. That can feel a bit hard and frustrating at times, right? Because you're like, oh, you want to give in. You want easier way to do things. So I was like, I already know this is going to happen. I am going to bribe myself with the coolest stuff that if I actually pull what I want to do off, I'm going to reward myself because I know how much effort that took and nobody is going to do that for me. So why wouldn't I do it for myself? So I'm really excited. When I hit my milestones, I'll let y'all know. I'll let y'all know my little secrets. Okay, I thought I had a different Q-tip, but we're going to use this one. Boom. Okay, so why does your ego do this? Why does your ego go, oh no, this is bad? Like, okay, yes, we know the fact that being seen can make the nervous system feel like there's danger. We know that the job of the nervous system and the brain is to keep us safe, especially if we have undergone any kind of trauma. We know what it's like to not feel safe. But it's because your body is literally starting to grieve this old version of you, like who you used to be and who you're leaving behind. And so you're starting to feel raw, right? You're starting to feel vulnerable. You're starting to feel irritated. There's maybe a little part of you that feels shameful. You're coming up, you're sharing your message, like for example, and nobody's watching. And nobody's watching. And then you go, well, who am I to talk about this? Maybe this is stupid. Maybe, I don't know I should leave that to the professionals. We forget that everybody started at day 0. We forget that everyone started with nothing. I have a company called the Hotel Florist. And when I started that Instagram account, it was 0 and I was talking to nobody. And now it's around 10,000 florists. I work specifically with luxury hotels. I train and certified florists to work in these hotels. I put them together like a booking engine and boom, I had to start on day 1 when nobody was watching. And I didn't have to make that mean anything, right? But this is where most, especially women, quit because we feel like something is wrong with us. That, you know what, this is me. I should know better. I'm insignificant. I'm invisible. I'm irrelevant, right? But it's none of those things. It's really none of those things, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because we are in a period of time right now where there is a massive shift happening in our collective, in our society, in the way that we want to experience life, in the way that we want to live, and we want to do new things. We so desperately want to do new things, and there's never been more of a time that our soul has felt the need to be in alignment and authentic to who we are. But then our human likes to get in the way and tell us how that's stupid, that's BS. We should keep doing the things that we're doing. It makes money, it pays the bills, it's the right thing. That's what people know us for. That look at all this time and money and energy that I have invested in things, yada 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 yada. So we don't make the move. And the problem is, if we do not detox from this survival identity, it will keep us small. We are essentially trading scraps for like the whole buffet. We're like, well, at least I know how to eat. I may not like this food. I may not like this portion size. I may not even like how I eat this food in the location, and I have no utensils, but you know what? I have food, versus saying, I'm a queen. I sit on a throne. I know that the food is literally served to me. It is the best of the best quality. It is the most divine taste. I will never go anywhere. Seriously, every single live, Germany just drops me. Poor Instagram baddies. Okay, we're back. I will never go anywhere else, because this is how I eat. And so if we realize that we are trading basics for abundance, all of a sudden we get back into the driver's seat. Okay. So just want to let you know, if we do not detox from that survival mode, we will stay small. So then we have the next phase, which is 11 days, 11 to 17. And this is where you start feeling a little bit more neutral. You're like, well, whatever. I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm going to see it through. I'm halfway there. Right. And we start believing that we can actually handle it. We can actually handle whatever the thing is that we're worried is going to happen next, the rejection, the visibility, the discomfort. We've gotten to a point now where our fear of regret, I talked about this yesterday, our fear of regret is far greater than our fear of rejection. And that takes a little while to get to that place. I get that. So by day 18, 21, you have a full recalibration. So that is actually why this whole 21-day thing is a thing. So now you know. You've crossed it. You trust yourself. You've proven in your body, like, it's okay. It's safe to be seen. It's safe to be powerful. It's safe to stay. So anytime you're starting something new that feels really scary, but it is the thing you need to do to get on the other side to get that result that you want, then you just stick with it for 21 days. So I want to let you know, this is not about like hustling. So I want to talk to you about how to stay consistent without like force. This is not about pushing through. Okay. Again, rewiring nervous systems, feeling very committed is very different than pushing to stay consistent. So it's about regulating your nervous system to hold more, because most women that I work with, they know they're gifted. They just know it. I've already done this. Okay. They know that they came here to do big shit. They feel big things coming through. They know they're meant to lead big things. They know that their next level requires visibility, voice, expansion, but their body will tell them it's not safe, shrink, hide. And that shows up in like being tired. That shows up in like making tired mean something. That shows up in so many different ways. But you cannot scale a business or a life from a place of protection. It comes from self-trust. And even within my company, the Hotel Florist, I help florists all the time land hotel partnerships. Like, that's terrifying for a lot of people, because they didn't grow up with luxury hotels. Like, they're not casually going to these places for holiday, or it's a completely different caliber for them. And now they need to go in and introduce themselves and tell this hotel why they are the best thing since sliced bread, that can feel really intimidating. But if you're operating from a place of self-trust, and that's what I help them get to, versus, oh my God, pick me energy, then they're building a business, they're scaling something, they're creating consistent income for themselves without depending on weddings. And, this whole methodology, like how you do one thing is how you do all things, is so important to operate from a place of self-trust and not old ways of being, because you somehow feel safer that way. So I created two. If you're loving today's conversation, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And I've created two different offers that really support what we talked about today. If you feel like you would like to go deeper, then I'd love to invite you to discover what they are. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. And then I'm going to put the links in the caption down below here on YouTube and on Instagram. I will put them in the link in bio so you can go and check them out. First one is Reclamation. So Reclamation is my trauma-informed human design experience. It helps you reset your nervous system to reconnect with your power and to finally stop sabotaging your visibility. So it's a super easy, self-paced, go in there, learn about human design, learn about how it's affecting you, learn about how to heal childhood trauma through your own unique design. And then if you're like, I would like to have deeper support, then I do have a one-on-one mentorship, which is for high achieving women who are done shrinking and done undercharging, done betraying themselves to feel safe. And I just want you to know, and that's called redefining you, that if you're realizing that staying small is actually not a strategy, it's not supporting you in your growth, it's not supporting you in your mission or your impact or your bank account, and you can finally see it for what it is, which is your survival programming, then we need to fix it. And we need to fix it at the root and help you come back home to yourself so that you can gain that level of self-trust. So if you're still here, it means that you are ready, not just to grow, but to stay, to hold, to receive, to do all of the things, and to finally stop abandoning yourself at the edge of your breakthrough. Okay. I want you just to know, again, you were given these dreams for a reason. Now I'm going to try to do lipstick again. So hold on for a second, because I cannot talk into this. I can, but and this one, I need to clean up. So hold please before it dries and I look like a clown all day. Okay. I have to say, this is probably the most humbling part of these lives. Almost. Hold on. We have one side that is looking a little bit rogue. Let's see if I can do this. I think we're good. Yeah. Think we're good. Okay. So, let me gather myself for a second. So when we really feel like we're on this edge of our breakthrough, this is where I find like a lot of people get the wobbles and they quit and they take themselves out of the game. They literally unplug out of the game. So this is a work. This is what we do together. I want you to subscribe. If you feel like this has really spoken to me, I love having this kind of energy in my life. Great. Subscribe. Share this with someone who needed to hear it, like who you think this would really benefit them. And come back tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm live daily and I'm just getting started. So as always, here's to your expansion. I will see you again on the internet very, very soon. Bye. Ciao.